welcome to Speedgaming Live 2023. I'm Eppoliticus, joined by W. Garrison for this A Link to the Past randomizer match between Eykir and SirLinkalot. So tell us a little about the runners.
Yeah, both runners have actually been part of the scene for a very long time. They've come out to Speedgaming Live to both participate in multiple tournaments. Eykir is not just an A Link to the Past player, but also runs SMZ3 as well. And is also really big in the cross-keys scene.
Nice.
And then we have SirLinkalot, who is additionally playing Final Fantasy I randomizer this weekend.
Won the championship last year, so we'll see if he goes deep on one of these games again. Should be cool.
Yep, both playing in the ALTTPR randomizer tournament for Speedgaming.
Yep.
And this is going to be a fantastic race.
Yeah, for sure.
Coming into this, I have no idea who's going to come out ahead.
Yeah, both talented runners who've got a fairly straightforward and competition-geared mode. Switching layouts now. And you can see the game faces are on.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about having a live event is that we can have everybody on camera. We can see all of the reactions live.
Oh, but speaking of, we want to mention someone right off camera, our tracker, Linkforce, who will be keeping all the things lit for us down below before I forget. But yeah, Got Our mode is basically, if you watch Speedgaming Live 2021, it's the same tournament mode as that from what I understand. Got Our casual boots mode, so you see that boots lit up. And we're getting a countdown. And we're off.
And we're off.
Here we go. So, that's standard open. Got some similar looking sprites I do not recognize.
A lot of blue hair.
A lot of blue hair.
That's what we get right off the bat. Just a heart piece to start.
Yeah, notable in this item pool, there aren't going to be full heart containers. And there's going to be a max of 14 hearts, because they basically get swapped out. All 4 swords are in the world. Once you get 3, the third one turns to the green 20. No half magic. If you see the little magic container in an item pickup, that's where it would have been. And, bows are progressive this year, which is a big change from last year.
That's really
Probably
nice.
the popular change. It did make for some exciting races last year, but these ones will just be exciting for different reasons.
Yeah, the 10 bombs
to start
right off the bat.
So that's going to help us out. You know, we got to set up a room a little faster. Of course, when you got boots and sword, kind of hard to go any slower than that.
Yeah, boots and sword, hallmark of Kaz boots. Additionally, we have both players in the escape sequence where we're going down to the basement to rescue Zelda and escort her out the back secret passage of Hyrule Castle. This is a required opener for both players, so they have to do this. They don't have a choice, and this is typical of what you would see in Kaz boots type scenes.
Yep. All right, Eykir making up a little bit of time there off of the bonk from earlier as Link takes just a couple extra seconds to get that guard down. But, you know, neck and neck, especially with these straightaways and the boots and the protection of that sword.
Well, the 10 bombs early is really nice. It helps out with a lot of the early game routing. It still isn't anything progression yet that we found in this game.
Yeah. But it'll help knock off, like you said, a couple of spots, in particular in Kakariko, where you want to get to that extra item in the back, and it's not a boot store.
2 good double spins, and they maneuver that way to kick the key right in front of the chest on purpose so they can collect the key and the chest at the same time.
Those are those high-powered optimizations that will make the difference for you in the nitty-gritty.
This escape is very neck and neck. SirLinkalot having to deal with the guard coming directly at him. Eykir going and actually getting rid of that guard right away too.
Yeah, about 2 seconds apart. Key pickups.
Bombs
you can't hold.
that we can't hold.
Yeah, and just telling Zelda to try to keep up. To be fair, she does a pretty good job.
Yeah, we won't see another check until we get the Dark Cross, so it's going to be a little bit of just maneuvering back out of the basement of the castle.
Probably good at the time as any to let you know this is first match in Group E, which contains along with these two, Dr. Bobtastic, Zafik Hill, and Ganon's Gone Wild. The way this tournament's going to work is that the top one from each group will definitely advance, and then out of the second seeds, we're going to be having a play-in race to see who fills out the rest of the 16-person bracket. So just to be sure and to avoid a somewhat hectic play-in race, these folks are going to want to try to get those top seeds.
While not as important in the boot start mode, the guards looked like they were in the arrow pack, which isn't particularly exciting in an escape sequence, but it's always good to know what your drop packs are in escape. Sure. Interesting thing with standard starts, which is what this kind of start is. There is code in there that actually makes the drops equal for both players, so you don't have to worry about whether you got unlucky with your drop RNG.
Oh yeah, normally in there to help with bombs for the back of escape, from what I understand.
Yeah. Yeah. But with boots, we'll be able to get those back checks anyway.
Yeah.
Let's see how they do with Keyrat.
Tracked him down before he went to Seattle. We love it. Big left turn. There you go.
Still no progression throughout escape, so we're gonna have to leave the castle before we find anything that gives us any direction to the seed.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what's in sync, see if it starts. All right, well, in standby. Looks like I had the emulator do something.
Oh no.
Yeah. That's going to be rough going, but luckily not a speed run exactly, but a rando run, and so those 5 minutes can come back somewhere.
Yeah.
But that's going to be, obviously, that's going to be huge.
And then that's going to be a little bit of a challenge mentally too. Like, one thing that I know from playing Kaz Boots, if you end up with a rough escape, like that can get into your mind very early into a seed, especially when that's like such a practice route that.
Yeah, you're like, oh gosh, can I just not even do this right now? And if you get into that negative mindset, like you said, it's just there goes your run.
Yeah, so SirLinkalot had a really good time out of escape with a 535, and Eykir, unfortunately, is going to almost double that with the unfortunate tech mishap.
Yeah.
But totally something that could be made up. Kaz Boots has a little bit of volatility to it, so a lot of races are determined by more than a 5-minute difference, so definitely not over yet.
Yeah, certainly not. Even just, you chase an item down, it turns out to be, it would be unfortunate for Linkalot, the wrong move or something, and suddenly we're back in it. So look for some deviation between the two paths to spell a rewrite on this one.
So still getting through Lost Woods, still not seeing anything for progression for SirLinkalot.
Yeah, just the heart piece on, what do you call, Lumberjack, so.
Yeah. We're closing in on Kakariko, and especially when you haven't found anything as of yet, it's hard to see that there's not going to be anything.
There's got to be something, right?
Yeah, there's got to be something.
We're about to get 5 checks off here.
Let's see. Yep, two sets of 5 checks right in the beginning of Kakariko. We'll see if we get anything interesting. A lot of money.
Money.
Get the money.
Money. Well, you know what that means. Absolutely nothing is really, like, not logically indicative of anything. But they're probably thinking about Zora.
So we got Sankheart in the back of Blind's Hut, so
there you go. Get a little refill. You see, one of the ways Eykir is making up here is ditching chests that he knows he doesn't need to get now. That'll be something that, at the very least, you know, skip the slight detour in Dark Cross, and probably actually skip the whole. He had made his left turn in the back of Escape, so we'll be able to get those bits back. You know.
So a little bit more money. We're getting pretty rich, but still nothing progress. Oh, there we go. Oh, and that's interesting because with the big change between
glove, hey.
The big change between this year's SGL and last year's SGL is the progressive bows, which means those bows tend to show up a lot earlier, and now we have really early access to Eastern Palace, which is nice. I really like being able to do Eastern Palace right off the bat with an early bow.
Yeah, it's nice to get it out of your head.
Yeah.
Whether it's pendant or crystal. Yeah, money's still trickling in that case.
And the glove, of course, being really important for piecing together Dark World access. It also gives a little bit of access to a couple different things in the world, like the mountain ascent and and that Zora.
Yeah. So we'll see where they go. We got our crystals. It looked like all.
Yeah, it looked like everything was crystals, and if I saw it right, it looked like Eastern and Desert were both red crystals.
Nice. I had only seen Eastern, so yeah. It'll be, looks like chips are falling that way. They got that bow, they want you to go.
Yeah. Crystal Eastern with a very early bow, like, it's so easy to just want to go over there and
whether you end up going all the way.
Ooh, a bottle.
There. Okay.
So we had the scout. We're going to use a little bit of time. I'm going to go back and backtrack it, but that's okay because most of the time we're going to find that there's nothing there. But this bottle, we're going to pick it up and we're probably going to turn right back around and go to Sick Kid with it to see if he's got something for us.
Yeah, while you're here, I figure, and the boots help. But I think even without them, when you're only this far away.
And we have Eykir out of Escape.
There we go.
And his time would be really good, considering, I mean, 10:30 and he's done Escape twice, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's
Definitely
just unfortunate that
of being able to skip one. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to ask him if he has any idea what happened there.
All right, we got a Sick Kid check here, and nothing there. So this, with the exception of the fact that we have early access to completing a crystal dungeon, the scene has been fairly stingy. We'll see if SirLinkalot decides to do South Shore or go straight for Eastern. We're going straight for Eastern.
Yep. Off we go. Gonna visit Saha.
I like this play. When you have bow and boots, there isn't a whole lot that's going to make Eastern much faster, and it's really nice to just get a crystal on the board right away.
Yeah, it feels like progress and all that. Eastern having some of the easier dark rooms that these guys definitely know.
All right, we
Green
got
Pendant
Green
Thieves Town.
Thieves, yeah.
Thanks, Uncle Saha. All right.
So nice 3 checks in the back of Saha's closet, and there's the Moon Pearl. That's piece number 2 of the 3 that we need for non-Agate Dark World access. We're looking now for a hammer or one more glove to be able to get into Dark World without needing to kill the wizard.
Yeah, always preferable.
So Eykir just moving through, getting through all of the checks in Kakariko. Going to be picking up his bow and glove there. Likely going to do exactly the same thing as SirLinkalot. Actually, it's kind of a nice thing about Casboot seeds is that the beginnings of the seeds are fairly scripted. So you have a nice bit of execution to handle while you kind of figure out the way that you want to play the game.
Yeah.
And we got a big key in Eastern as the first check in Cannonball Room.
That brings up, I think this early, it's not a risk anybody takes, but you know, it means you don't have to make the long trip in Eastern potentially, but mostly might work out that way with item counts too.
Yeah, we'll see if we pick up the map and compass and if there's any kind of fire rod. So we'll see if there's any kind of decision to be made with whether or not you skip Eastern Big Key Chest. It is a little bit awkward to do it prior to having Dark World access. But so that fire rod not unlocking anything quite yet, but it's a very nice weapon when you have magic, and you will get a magic refill killing the boss here, and it's going to be very useful once we get into Dark World.
All right, so we found the map. That means that Big Key Chest is going to be a decision. Again, I wouldn't expect that anybody doesn't go get it this early, but we'll see.
Well,
For Eykir, now that you know...
Yeah, there's no decision anymore.
Yeah,
you got to go get it.
I was going to say, on the other hand, for Eykir, maybe he's looking for places to get his time back, so we'll see. Again, I feel like that one's going to be pretty hard to make, though.
Yeah, and we are into the dark rooms of Eastern, and with players as skilled as Eykir and SirLinkalot, these dark rooms are not an issue at all.
Yeah.
When you get used to the game, you can kind of just picture these rooms in your head and just kind of use the sword to poke your way through it or dash through it. But it's definitely intimidating for new players.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And that is, with the Cas boot starts, one of the things that makes even trying to accomplish that much easier, though, is being able to have the shimmer of the blade to guide you. There we go.
You get a heart piece in the Eastern Big Key Chest. So.
I mean, it's skippable. We'll see if Eykir ends up feeling that bold.
Yeah.
For now, they're grabbing a bottle.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Eykir will actually skip it, because it's a pretty risky skip when you don't have Dark World access yet, and there are definitely places in Dark World to make up that time. So, interesting thing about logic with that fire rod, because you can light those torches in the corner, that room is in logic with the fire rod. So the game thinks you should be able to get to Armos Knights, so they could find their next progression on this boss.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like this room is the hardest room in the game to corral those Stalfos.
You're right. Sterling doing a pretty nice job with the pots there.
So Eykir's actually going to do something a little bit different. He's
Okay,
going
here
to
we go.
South
We got
Shore.
some deviation.
Yeah.
This should get interesting.
Of course, he's still not going to have Dark World access until he gets to Saha's Closet, but
That'll be early on his mind.
yeah.
Right. SirLinkalot launching the arrows. And
Interesting armor strat. I think it probably got away from him a little bit there, but
a little bit, but didn't die. That's important.
no progression, but gets the crystal and
Need those for Ganon. So.
yeah. And
Hello.
there's our Dark World access,
Yeah.
but neither player has all of the pieces yet.
Yeah, and all of it basically on likely paths, so end up not being too much of a difference. It'll just be a matter of when each of them gets the pieces.
Yeah, and with the access being gloves and hammer, that's the one that gives you the most flexibility in Dark World. So,
Actually, interesting thing, because we've got Eykir going over to Agina here, but we're getting our hammer now. Do you go to Mini Moldorm, then just right back up the Hype Cave and get around in there? It's a lot of items.
With the boots, Moon Pearl, and enough money for Zora, I probably finish the South Shore route myself and end it at Zora and then go into Dark World. But there's definitely the room for options.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like Agina quite paid out for Eykir, but we're gonna get
nothing doing.
We're gonna get Mini Moldorm Cave from both players.
We're getting bomb strats.
The one unfortunate thing is the water walk strategies for Eykir is going to be a little bit more tricky to pull off without the Moon Pearl, because it makes Waterfall Fairy a little bit less flexible without the ability to regain water walk in that spot.
Yeah. And nicely done on the mini mold arms here. It's like it's not necessarily a difficult challenge, but they are squirrely. The hitboxes are weird, so not too many extra bombs needed.
So we didn't actually pull anything out of Mini Moldorm Cave.
No.
Another 5-item cave that was completely empty.
Yeah, and folks are both going to the ice cave, so.
Yeah, this is what I expected. It feels a little bit cleaner to clean up this route, especially having both players having the money for Zora. And they're going to be rewarded with a hook shot, so that I love the hook shot. It's my favorite item, and
honestly, it's one of mine too.
It makes the game a lot easier when you have that.
Yeah, I just love all the movement tech. It's so good.
Oh yeah. So we're looking like we're going to get a set of water walks.
Yep. You just saw it the second time there on Link's side. You line yourself up a little bit over the edge, and something about the way you run out the door lets you just ignore the way water works, and that's pretty cool.
And it looks like Eykir is going to do Waterfall first, which makes sense because without the Moon Pearl, he can't get those checks just from Fake Flipper State. That's a scary heart piece in there. If you refill a heart container, you end up back in swimming state, and that is terrifying.
Yeah, it kind of resets your whole route there. But tossing the bottle into the ferry, getting green goo out, so yeah, but may make a difference at some point.
So it looks like the way that Eykir is going to do this is he's going to skip the man under the bridge chest, but SirLinkalot is going to get that. Turns out that it's not going to be anything, but it's just the consequence of not having a Moon Pearl. It makes that man under the bridge check really difficult.
We'll see if he thinks about it later and ends up giving the time back.
No.
But if it's a skip, then
it looks like Eykir's backwards rounding to go get man under the bridge.
Okay, well, there we go.
That's interesting.
Just rupees on the ledge, so we'll see both the players skip.
With boots, it's not that time-consuming, but it's definitely not as quick as the way that SirLinkalot can do it, because as we'll see here, with the Moon Pearl, SirLinkalot is going to get his Water Walk state back from Waterfall Ferry.
Yep. Yeah, again, I had a wealth of items for a bit, and we're back to stingy.
Well, we have Dark World access, and we're just kind of cleaning up some things in Light World, so it's just a matter of what do we see when SirLinkalot gets into Dark World. And we know that Eykir is going to be heading over to Eastern at this. Well, maybe not. What's Eykir doing now? Is Eykir just going up the mountain? I guess with gloves and hookshot, that makes sense.
Yeah, you do have quite a bit you can do up there.
Yeah, and even with a hammer, you can get all the way around to Hera?
Yep, and you've got the weapons from Moldorm and the hammer. Ooh, interesting. No fire rod if he has to go to the basement.
So maybe Eykir here is actually trying to put off Eastern with the thought of being able to pair it with Pod with a mirror later, trying to use that as a way of making up some time.
It's certainly a convenient way to route it when you can. We'll see what shakes out, but a small percentage, something very important happens in a Hera basement.
And it looks like SirLinkalot is going to be going into Dark World via the Village of Outcast portal. So we'll see what he decides to do from there. But it looks like we're going to have very different routes. And that's what tends to happen when you end up with a glove hammer Dark World access is you have a lot of opportunity for divergence.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
And frankly, divergence is kind of what Eykir is looking for here,
too. Oh, for sure, yeah. If he just followed Link around, he'd basically stay about 5 minutes behind because of what happened earlier in the race. All right, we got...
I saw green... Oh, well, we already knew Green Pendant was on Thieves' Town. I had a little trouble seeing that map check, but...
all right, looks like Link Force did get it.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. So, shout-outs to the Tracking.
Yeah, thank you. So looks like we got Pendant Pod, Pendant Turtle Rock, and a Green Pendant Thieves' Town. And everything else is crystals.
Yeah, interesting.
So looks like the bottom of Paradox didn't have anything interesting, but we got yet another high-value cave here from Eykir. And let's see. Jeez, another empty 5-item cave. They have not been kind to our players.
No, not at all. It's something. So the vanilla big key, is that?
See, and with the yeah, we had a vanilla big key, and with the fire rod, we have the ability to full clear crystal skull woods. That's what SirLinkalot's going to do. The fighter sword is a little bit light on firepower for Moth, but with runners of this caliber, they should be okay. Moth gets a little bit tricky sometimes, but we'll see if we see hammer strats or how many fire rod shots we'll be able to get into Moth before we need to resort to melee weapons, which can get tricky in that room.
For sure. Yeah, we'll see. Meanwhile, Eykir up in Hera. Got a big key there.
We got a death warp over at SirLinkalot's side. Walking back around from under the bridge is time consuming.
Yeah.
It's easier just to die and go back to the beginning.
Yeah. Well, those lessons you don't want to take from video games. All right.
So well, there's one of the items from Hera, and it's not a great item, but
Yeah, so if we see Compass on Moth, then it means there's one left in the basement.
yeah, and we don't like to see that because the basement has a whole tile cutscene to it, which is very slow.
Yep. And it's going to be especially bad for Eykir, given that he doesn't have any fire to light the torches at the end of it anyway.
Oh, yeah, without the fire rod, he can't even do it.
Naughty Moldorm doesn't want to play. All right, so that's 6. Wow.
So we had dueling bosses here.
Yeah, that was incredible.
I know which one I would be rather fighting on this equipment.
I mean...
Oh, no. A center hole from Moldorm.
Yeah, things not going the best for Eykir right now.
But SirLinkalot seems like a
there you go.
very nice moth fight. Didn't even take a hit.
Yeah,
that's
given the gear.
phenomenal.
Yeah, nice work.
Moth just drops 10 arrows, but that's one of the items that you're looking to find in Skullwoods. And you get another crystal on the board.
Nice. Did you notice what was under the bridge?
Oh, it was a key.
Okay.
Just a small key.
So yeah, we're
Yeah.
oh right, yeah. So we're still looking for one more in the front.
Yeah, and we have the big key, so SirLinkalot's going to be able to just keep opening chests in the front until one of them spits out the other item.
Okay. Down goes Moldorm.
And Moldorm a lot more cooperative this time.
And a bug net. All right. So nothing in the basement. That goes well for Eykir after that.
So yeah, that Moldorm, especially when you're on early equipment, so easy to be an inconvenience.
Yeah, like in the vanilla
you,
path, like playing casually, it really is. It's kind of a challenging fight, but it's interesting to give you. You're probably not going to die. You're just going to fall down a bunch, you know.
And SirLinkalot getting his heart piece out of Skullwoods early. That's 2 items. The whole rest of Skullwoods is not going to have anything for us.
Yeah.
So he is out.
Yep, up to 2 crystals already, and bearing down in a sec on a green pendant Thieves Town. We'll see how much of it he decides to do. It's always an interesting one for trying to do the calculus of, well, I got 2 items, but it is green pendant, and there's 4 items in there with that bonus from Saha later.
So one of the interesting things in this seed, because we have Pod, Thieves Town, and Tiara's pendants, we actually have a lot of potential item checks in our pendant dungeons that could have something.
Now you mention it too, those are heavy hitters, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see if we end up having to search some pendants, and that's one of the things that happens a lot in Kaz boots is you can get late into a seed and end up in a picket pendant, and it becomes really important as to whether or not you hit the right one or not. But that's... Oh, wait, what did we just see in Eykir just spotted something. It looked like it might have been the ice rod. I think I saw a handle of something.
Interesting.
I'm just kind of waiting to see what it is because I want to see if I was right. Oh, no, it was Cane of Burna. Okay.
Nice.
Not specifically progression, but if we end up in a spot where we are looking to do Spike Cave later, that's going to be really important. So I think at this point, Eykir has run out of options. He is going to have to do Eastern. He will get the Moon Pearl out of Stuffhouse Closet. I don't expect that he's going to bail and skip Eastern at this point. I think.
Nah, he's got the gear. He'll go for it.
Yeah, once you get this close, you're just gonna have to do it.
We have books so far out of Thieves Town. That's interesting. Gets us in the desert, back in the light world.
It's interesting. It's one of those items that you. Oh, Eykir is not doing Eastern. He really wants to pair it with.
Really wants to pair it with
Pod later, but the problem is, Pod's a pendant.
He won't know yet.
He won't know yet.
He's about to find out, though.
Yeah. Yeah, that's unfortunate because he won't be able to get that unless he specifically has to go in Pod for progression. But I don't see how you do that before you complete Eastern. Oh yeah, he's doing the map check there. Pod's not a crystal. He's not going to get any of that time saving.
And Death Warp from Linkalot gets us out of Thieves Town, going south.
Yeah, so did not do the back. I didn't catch how many items were in the back, but with the green pendant back there, it's going to be 2 or more.
Yeah.
So, and, ooh, flippers in Hype Cave and a
Knight.
Master Sword.
Alright, it's like pretty hype.
Yeah. Flippers kind of just get us the checks that we've already done.
Yeah, I was going to say they're slowly becoming obsolete in the run, basically.
The Flippers unlocking either Ice Palace or Swamp, it doesn't quite get us there yet because we would need a mirror or mitts for them to do that. So Flippers not an advantage yet, but
almost a high five here as we get the quick stumpy heart pieces. No mirror for what I hear people call K45. I just wish it was a better name, you know.
Well, I mean K45 it makes sense because in the Nintendo Power Guide for A Link to the Past, that it was just labeled the 45th cave. So
gotcha. See, that I didn't know. We're learning. It's an educational channel.
So we got Eykir, SirLinkalot heading over to Eastern, or not Eastern, Desert. I'm getting a little bit mixed up because the game screens and the way that the players are sitting are opposite for us.
Yeah. It's all good.
I have to look over at Eykir to see Linkalot's screen. But
yeah, returning the book to Desert, we'll see what he finds.
Yeah. So we're going to have at least one player completing each of the Light World dungeons pretty early on. And actually, that's the flip side of having such big dungeons with pendants is that you can rack up crystals really quick in this kind of seed. So
yeah, and we're seeing Eykir head to Dark World via the woods here. Again, without the fire rod, that's another thing that Link kind of has on him just from following that Eastern play. But I wonder if even Eykir's choice to not do Eastern was completely motivated by the fact that he obviously feels a little behind after he can be pretty confident his opponent did not have to do Escape twice.
Yeah, it's not common that you have to do something like Escape twice. So when something like that happens early and you just straight up lose 5 minutes, it colors a lot of your decisions. So I'm not surprised to see some of the more creative plays coming out of Eykir at this point.
Yeah, and all that said too, it wasn't that like his execution was off or anything. It seems his emulator crashed, and since then he's been crispy. You know, just had the center hole fall to Moldorm, and then came back and got swift revenge. So
yeah, both players' execution has been very good so far, and Eykir, in terms of gameplay, has looked very good. The combination of that crash and the fact that the route is just not quite working out for him either has been pretty tough.
For sure.
Going into Skull Woods without the fire rod with a very early available fire rod, and then one of the items on Moth. So he's going to go into the front of the Skullwoods, and he's going to pick up every chest. And
Right where Link was able to save because the first item's coming up quick.
right, and the only thing he's going to find in here is a heart piece and a bunch of keys.
Yep.
Actually, I guess the one thing that he might be able to do, if the compass comes up in its vanilla location, he'll know that the last item has to be key, and he won't have to continue here. That the last item
We'll
will
see
be on.
if he's that aware of it, because that's some next level stuff right there.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Since Moth cannot have a small key, as soon as you see, oh, and he's not realizing he's got the map and the compass, so the last item has to be on Moth, but he might be a little bit frazzled, so he's picking up the final key and heading out. I guess without the mirror, it's a little bit tricky just to get out of there anyway. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. That might even be the case too, yeah. Because that whole dungeon's just weird.
so unfortunately, I didn't see a lot of the Desert Palace. It looks like from the items on the tracker, we haven't really picked anything up here.
Nothing doing so far.
But it's just
And a fun one to have the boots for.
yeah, it's just steadily putting more crystals on the board, which is the kind of pressure that SirLinkalot wants to be putting on now, especially with the incident that he wouldn't know about. But
That's an interesting aspect too, because he's seen the seed so far and knows how he thinks about it, and probably thinks like, boy, like my opponent's got all this stuff too.
yeah, the easy availability of crystals makes the routing of this one. As much as we talked about Divergence, it's pretty easy to just get into crystal clear mode in this one. So so far for the runners, it seems like a quick seed. We'll see if there's an item in there that throws a wrench into it. So now we've seen all of the Light World crystals cleared, and the other interesting thing for SirLinkalot is he has both the red crystals now, so he'll be able to do Pyramid Fairy, the big bomb.
And given the proximity with Hype Cave still looming for him, and being able to spawn at Link's house, it's probably what's up next, honestly.
Yeah, and that's I was wondering why he hadn't continued around to Hype Cave from Stumpy, and now it makes a ton of sense. He was intentionally saving it so that he could pair it up with Pyramid Fairy. Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah,
that's a heads up routing call.
So he'll get his sword upgrade.
He'll get a sword upgrade. He'll get flippers, and then Eykir just picked up his book in Thieves Town.
And again, missing that fire source.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Eykir actually decides to take the gamble and see if he can pull something big out of the back of Thieves Town.
It's going to be something that, if it's there, definitely plays to Eykir's favor at this point.
Yeah, still Eykir, I think, is in a position where anything that he could do to create divergence would be good for him. And because he knows that he himself had the tech issue, he knows that divergence is good for him.
Yeah,
that he's behind.
Yep, he's going to leverage these boots and make his way to the back of the dungeon. So this going to be good.
Yeah, I like this, especially considering what happened early. I think this is a way that Eykir can pull something very early that Linkalot might be late to. So it's the feast or famine kind of play, though, which is exactly what you need when you're in Eykir's situation.
100%. And getting a little bit of that hookshot show off action from Linkalot carrying the bomb around. Love to see it. His favorite item by far.
Yeah. Ooh, another sword on Pyramid Ledge.
All right. Shout outs to countdowns and graphics being hard. We got he's blown 2 holes in the sides of the pyramid.
So SirLinkalot has maxed out his sword for this mode at this point. Oh, so Mirror is here. That's going to give him the ability to clear Swamp Palace. So for SirLinkalot, this so far has just been a tale of do the straightforward routing and knock out the crystals. And,
Yeah, that fire rod is in Eastern, and it seems to be the only fire source available to beat Desert Palace, to get you to the Pyramid Ferry, to get the mirror that we suspect that Eykir really wants before he bothers with going back to Eastern. So he's got himself in a bit of a bind here that can be fixed if the right items are in Thieves' Town.
The other thing that's notable is that we still don't have logical mountain access, despite the fact that we have the ability to sequence break up there and get a whole bunch of items, which is what Eykir did. Because of that no logical access, that's why SirLinkalot has been avoiding the mountain so far. And it's been paying off for him because he's just been knocking out crystal after crystal at this point.
Yeah, making progress towards that end goal.
Given that Eykir really didn't pick up much on the mountain, this is going to pay off for him too, because he might end up in a position where he skips the entire mountain. That would just be a disaster for Eykir.
Yeah. Yeah, you get having the mirror. You can do the dream setup of Hera into Ganon's tower. Just walk out the door, hit the mirror portal. Yeah, blind underway here. And I guess actually this is a thing that can get Eykir over to Eastern sooner than later, is he is about to get his green pendant.
Yeah, so that's going to be nice to be able to pair green pendant with Eastern, and then since he's not going to be looking to do pod together with it, maybe this gets him to Eastern now.
Yeah. As far as we know, it's like it's the play he needs to make.
But unless there's something on that green pendant, Eykir's in a really, really bad situation.
Yeah.
I mean, he did what he needed to do. He took some risks trying to make up for the fact that that he had that early issue, but they're not. It hasn't paid out, and it's continuing to get rougher for him.
Yeah.
He's actually coming back up the mountain instead of heading over to Eastern.
Interesting. But yeah, so a couple of things over on SirLinkalot in the meantime. Had Quake in the first chest here. Might be needed for Meyer.
Yeah.
And exercising one of the recently in clips, from what I understand. He's got the hammer. He's got the flippers. He doesn't care. We're going through the rail.
So I think Eykir's up here because we have, with the book, we have Ether Tablet up here now.
Oh, yeah. And we've got the sword to get it, too. This is an interesting investment, but again, any one of these locations could pay off big to separate these two in Eykir's favor. Like if this was Kena Samaria, that would be wonderful. It's so close. I try.
Right, color. Yeah, but Eykir is definitely in the gamble spiral, which again, it's the only way that you can play when you get into this spot where.
Oh, this is interesting. I'd forgotten he got Blue Cane up here nearby in Light World, so at least he's able to come up with the 2 checks. I was a bit more skeptical of the move, to be frank, when it was just for the 1, but now we're seeing what again might be payoff.
It's still very much a gamble to come up here for the 2 checks, but and unfortunately don't pay
again,
out.
but not the shape.
Yeah, when in Link to the Past, when you fall behind, I keep saying you have to start gambling. You have to take risks to try to find a way to get back into it. And if they continue to not pay out, they continue to be bigger and bigger time sinks. You have to take bigger and bigger risks, and
you can get yourself in a real bad spot real quick.
You get into a gamble spiral, and with these matches, you either win or lose. If you lose by 2 minutes or you lose by 20, it's still a loss. So, if you're risking losing by more with the chance of actually getting a win out of it, that's why this gamble stuff is important. But this seed is just not giving Eykir a chance.
Yeah, Saha only paying out the heart piece. So
Eykir's going to go into Eastern. He's going to clear it. He's going to get a fire rod. That's going to make him feel even worse. This is just really unfortunate. And Linkalot has just been on the path of just tearing through crystal dungeons the whole way.
Yeah, I guess the saving grace item at this point, I guess maybe there's 2. One of them is whatever medallion opens Meyer. the other one is the Cane of Samaria, I think.
Well, there's the flute as well.
Oh,
'cause
flute could be,
we still
yeah.
need flute to be able to get into Mire. So
That's true. So
we
basically, Meyer is potentially Eykir's savior that way.
we have a lot of question marks about how do we get into Mire. The other thing that's notably missing that we usually pick up by this point is Mitts. Mitts is still outstanding somewhere, and it could very well be hiding somewhere like a pendant pod.
That's true. Yeah, so when I said there was 2, it's actually like 4, probably 10 for all I know. But the point is Meyer. I'm glad I have a co-commentator in moments like this.
But still, it's still looking rough because even with SirLinkalot needing a lot of items for go mode, he has piled up the crystals, which Eykir still has not really been able to do, especially with the decision to try to put off Eastern to try to get some sort of time saving there. So we got a big key in the back of Swamp. We haven't done
boss.
We haven't done left side Swamp. We'll see if SirLinkalot ends up going back in.
Oh, he had though.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
He's still going to go back in, but it looks like there is an item in that big chest. It's pretty quick to get back to, especially with the new Specky clip.
Yeah, and he pulled it off with fluidity the first time, so.
It's interesting because of our familiarity with Harapot. This Specky clip is almost exactly the same setup as Harapot, just the other direction. And so runners picked up that trick really, really quickly. I know when I went to practice it myself, I had the trick down in about 15 minutes because
nice.
it's basically just Harapot 2.0.
Yeah.
So
and again, just another place his flippers are getting like a tiny bit obsolete, you know.
Well, no, you see, in order to get into Swamp, you still need the flippers, but it's funny. It allows you to skip the hammer requirement of Swamp, which is really interesting. It makes it a lot less painful if you get a seed that has a hammer in that behind that bomb wall in Swamp, because even if you go in without a hammer, you're not doing it now just for the one check. You can actually bypass the hammer requirement and actually full clear Swamp anyway. So we could see what SirLinkalot wants to do now that he doesn't specifically have an in-logic crystal to go clear.
Yeah.
So he's
technically not, allowed up the mountain. Well, I guess. Oh wait, mitts for ice. Yeah, gosh.
Yeah, you need mitts for ice.
Yeah, and that one you can't work around.
And you need a slew of items for Mire. You also need mitts for Mire, but you need flute. There's a pending medallion. We would be able to get in without Kane, but we wouldn't be able to finish it without Kane. So
I guess.
In terms of stuff that's left, it looks like SirLinkalot's finally going to go up the mountain.
Yeah.
So this is going to give Eykir a lot of time back because we know that the mountain really doesn't have anything on it, which is surprising for the number of checks that are up there.
Yeah, the big thing is just going to be getting that crystal out of Haraba. After that, it's like, 0.
It is a item desert up there, but yeah. It's going to be another crystal on the board, and it's going to put SirLinkalot 2 away. But after the mountain, he's still going to need to find 4 more items, and I am super suspicious of Pod. I don't even know that there's really anything left besides Pod. Do you?
The one I can think of is he never went back for Cave 45 after the mirror, did he? And then with that graveyard ledge.
Yeah, graveyard ledge.
So
is still
those are basically what do you call it? There's the way to get in
King's
through
Tomb.
King's Tomb, yeah. So those are like the 3 that technically could have like 3 of the 4 and lead to one of the other ones or whatever. But yeah, it's looking more and more like that last pennant dungeon that we haven't explored yet. It's got something there.
Yeah, and then there's the possibility that SirLinkalot ends up giving more time back to Eykir if he ends up deciding to do Thieves Town over Pod.
Yeah. Because that'll be a return to it for him. So time he already put in, that he's doubling on, and then we know it just doesn't give you much.
And it's one of those things that it's definitely a trade-off. So I can see a player picking to do either. You could decide to do Thieves Town with a lower density, but you get the green pendant so you can turn it in on your way to Pod. Or you can just go straight for the density of Pod. And both plays have their merits, so we'll see what he decides on after the mountain.
Yeah. In the meantime, Eykir just doing desert things. We've seen the dungeon.
Yeah, I mean, now that he has the fire rod, that gives him the access to be able to do desert, and he's going to complete the desert, then he's going to do Pyramid Fairy, as that's going to be the big thing Desert's going to unlock. He's going to get his mirror, and that's going to basically send him down the same path that SirLinkalot has already been going down. So Eykir's really just kind of hoping for SirLinkalot to end up going down the same false endeavors that he has already gone on.
Yeah.
But I think one of the key deciders in this game is going to be which dungeon does, or what checks does SirLinkalot decide to do once he's off of this very empty mountain.
For sure.
So SirLinkalot is going for the hook speed version of Harapot. This used to be my preferred method of Harapot. It's a little bit trial and error, but it's still fairly quick to get it to work. But now that we have much more consistent bomb versions of Harapot, I've tended to favor those a little bit more, and they tend to be a little bit quicker with the consistency. So, but every player has their own way of doing all of the different tricks, which is the interesting thing in A Link to the Past randomizers.
Yeah, and then compounded even with when you're lining things up. So do you use your sword, do you use your sprite, your shadow? Can you even see those elements right now?
It's funny with all of the different setups for the different tricks and the different boss fights. You can actually kind of tell which player is playing without a name tag just by watching the way that they do different tricks. Everybody has kind of their own signature ways of doing different things, which is interesting.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
So we had a pretty good land mow from Eykir and a really straightforward Moldworm from SirLinkalot.
Yeah, it was able to avoid some of the literal pitfalls from Eykir's fight.
Yeah, well, the Tempered Sword makes a huge difference there.
Oh, for sure.
Tempered Sword Moldworm is significantly easier. And then
Eykir had the damage available, but in the hammer, which is definitely a different bear.
Well, that and Moldworm was just very much guarding Eykir from getting down to the platform, which was very unfortunate. And sometimes
the 6
it's
or
just
so
one
bounces that first time.
Oh man, sometimes it's just the RNG of the game, and then once you actually get down there, after that, Moldworm's a little bit unpredictable. That's what happened to Eykir. So yeah, we have Eykir going to Pyramid Fairy, which is exactly what we expect.
It's going to bode well for him. He's going to get that mirror. Might be a little frustrated to find it there. Probably not going to make it feel too great, but he'll probably leverage it.
I mean, at this point, I think he has to, and I don't see him doing anything else but going and clearing Swamp. We'll see how much of Swamp he decides to skip, though. And
notables out of there were Blue Mail and Quake, from what I remember. So
yeah, but
a lot of opportunity.
Neither of those were on left side Swamp, though, right?
Correct. Or if the Blue Mail is there, I mean, it's still not really required.
Yeah. So that might be a place where Eykir can save some time at the at the risk of some checks gnawing on the back of his mind for the rest of the seed.
Yeah.
I mean, in Kaz boots, you have to get very comfortable with just skipping very slow checks and and being okay with it if you happen to skip progression, because this mode is um, it it is a fairly skip heavy mode compared to some of the other modes out there. Um, so yeah, Eykir doing exactly what we think he's going to do, and is going to swamp. We'll see if he checks Bomba's tablet in K45 before going in.
I
If he
forgot
does it
about
after.
Bomba's tablet as well. Yeah, that's another spot. It'd be right next to Meyer. Be a little bailout for him.
Yeah, I don't. It might be something that SirLinkalot ends up getting to very quickly anyway. Well, let's see. We're gonna finish up the mountain on SirLinkalot's side, and here's kind of the moment of truth. Where does SirLinkalot go? He's starting at Sanctuary. Let's see. This could be a cleanup of North Dark World with the Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb. This could be the Thieves Town play, which would be exactly what Eykir would want. Did we? I'm sorry, I missed Ether or Bombo's tablet. Did we see anything there?
Honestly, I blinked too.
I trust our tracker. I don't see anything new there, so I'm going to assume that there wasn't anything there.
Okay, so
But yeah, I was caught up on the SirLinkalot side because I think this decision kind of determines the way that the rest of this match goes.
yeah, we're just kind of waiting for Eykir to get something to break him free from chasing Sir Link.
Well, and Eykir is not going to be in that position until after he's done Swamp, because I mean he has to get done the crystals. He has to get done. I guess the decision from Eykir is whether or not he goes back in, or whether or not he does left side Swamp the first time through, and if he doesn't, does he go back in with a big key and then do left side Swamp there? So SirLinkalot is cleaning up the northern mirror checks, so not committing to a dungeon yet. King's Tomb is not the answer, and then we'll see Graveyard Ledge, and then we'll be back in the position of what does SirLinkalot decide to do? What does he commit to? And there's very few locations left for them to find the mitts, and I would be willing to bet that mitts is the next thing that they find, and that will give them access to Ice Palace, as well as a couple of kind of gross. A powder. That's.
I mean, something to check anyway.
Yeah, finding when you're getting low on checks and you start finding fetch quest items that just kind of drag out the quest or the checks that you're doing, that never feels good. So
No.
as
He's in Dark World, so
as helpful as the powder is for keeping yourself alive through some of the later dungeons, I don't know that you're necessarily happy to see it there, because you don't want to keep continuing to have to chase down overworld checks when you could be instead moving on to density.
yeah. I wonder, maybe this has drawn him back towards Thieves Town, or maybe it was the plan all along.
So it looks like Eykir is going to go the path of full clearing Swamp. So because players don't know what their opponent has done, this play actually makes sense for Eykir, because Eykir could be banking on the fact that SirLinkalot skipped Swamp. So there's a theory that what did we just see from Bat?
That was the mitts.
Oh, okay.
Got your back gloves.
Oh, right.
Sorry
man.
to interrupt.
So I'm expecting that. Oh, he is going to do all of the Dark Mountain checks. There's a lot of checks up here.
Yeah.
This kind of makes sense. I guess the idea is, even though Ice Palace is full clearable, it gets a lot better if you find the Cane of Smari, and you can do the trick to make the entire dungeon more palatable.
Yep. Gotta break the ice.
But as I was saying on Eykir's side, there's a theory that when you get far behind and you know you're far behind, especially with a mode that's as skip heavy as Kaz boots, you could assume that maybe your opponent if he hit the route, he might actually start skipping things being close to go mode, and left side swamp could have been one of the things that you skipped. And if you find progression there when your opponent has skipped it, that gets you back into the game no matter how far behind you are.
Yeah.
Or
Like
basically.
If you miss a required item, you just can't finish.
Yeah, then left side swamp becomes the last location. That takes a long time to get back to. So, haven't seen anything. Oh, no. No, we haven't seen anything in Super Bunny Cave. We're going to do the check to see what the TR medallion is.
That's Quake.
Which we can get into, well, except for we can't do anything in there without
no
the
cane yet.
cane.
So that's a kind of a blessing I wasn't even thinking about for a bit, though. It's like you can't dive TR if you're looking for cane.
Right.
And if that's the thing you're looking for.
All
right,
there it is.
Yeah.
I mean, they need it, but that's also kind of sketchy.
Hilarious.
So now all of the spicy lamp.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So that's a very interesting logical thing. If lamp is up here, that means flute is.
Oh yeah, flute's been around.
Flute's around. So SirLinkalot is leaving because he wants to go find that flute.
Oh,
so
spicy
he could be going in. Oh, he's definitely going into Ice Palace from here. Now with the Cane
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Cane of Samaria, there's no
classic,
reason
right?
not to do Ice Palace.
But also, like Lamp's going to be there. I don't know why. It's always there.
Yeah, Flute having the ability to be there is a big draw. And then, I don't know. I'm still suspicious of Pod.
Yeah.
But
or yeah, I said Lamp. I meant Flute. But yeah.
Oh, yeah. Ice Palace with 3 checks, there's a good chance that Flute is here. If Flute is here...
then it's just that Meyer medallion.
Yeah, and they might already have it, so... It's still not looking good for Eykir, and that's unfortunate. Like, the seed really didn't give him a lot of way to get back in after the unfortunate... emulator issue. Yeah, so from SirLinkalot, he's going to hit the switch, but we're going to see my favorite rando trick. It's actually the trick that got me into playing this game. I was waiting specifically for this to be legalized. Back in May 2020, this is going to be... Icebreaker, where you actually trick the game into thinking that you are still in the door and that the Samaria block is blocking your way through. So it goes, okay, we don't want players to be stuck in the doorway, so just walk on through, and you walk all the way through the wall.
Yep.
It's a very fun trick. So looks like SirLinkalot's having a little bit of trouble getting it set
there
up,
we go.
but there we go. It just looks really cool too.
Yeah.
Oh, great, a shovel. So we might have a vanilla flute.
Oh, that'd be hilarious, yeah. And interestingly, it draws him back towards K45.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that comes up too. Could be French vanilla, as the kids say.
So.
Oh, good place to keep that one, yeah.
Eykir now. Oh, Eykir's going to clean up Skull Woods, get his 10 arrows and a crystal off of Moss. But, yeah, I mean, it's a crystal. You got to get it done, and it's just, unfortunately, a little bit more time that prevents him from actually picking up the next piece of progression, which I actually expect that he's going to be getting the powder into Mitt almost immediately after Skull Woods, because he's basically in the area.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the mirror. It's not possible for Link to have done it when he was over here.
So far, other than the shovel...
It was
we
Ice
got the
Rod.
Ice Rod
Yeah,
out of...
and I think that's the second item, and we're waiting on that third one, so...
and the Ice Rod is... the ice rod actually puts pedestal in play. So, flute on ped is definitely a possibility, and then whatever the Meyer medallion is could also be a possibility too.
Yeah.
So,
Be a heck of a way to start the tourney in terms of restreams.
given that pretty much the only items that they need only lock out Meyer and GT, they have basically everything open to them, which is frankly kind of the volatility that Eykir is going to need at the end of the seed.
Yeah.
So Eykir has now also picked up crystal number 5. So he's still on the trail of SirLinkalot. He's a dungeon behind and has a little bit of fetch quest for the mitts. And also at some point needs to pick up Samaria off the mountain, but yeah, that's still quite a bit behind, and there's not a lot of room.
Oh.
A head check. Oh,
No. The Ice Palace, the third item.
Oh, what was that?
It was the flute.
Oh.
Yeah, that's huge.
I expected
So we're down
SirLinkalot's going to
to-
go to Meyer right away and see what the medallion is, see if we're in go mode.
Yep. Yeah, have to. Like, and so if it's Quake, he's in there, and this is just a race to the finish. Then,
Yeah.
we're waiting on Eykir to get to Graveyard Ledge for his powder, to go to bat for his mitts, and then he's hot on the trail.
SirLinkalot trying to get the right save and quit to get himself to a place to activate the flute.
Yeah, right.
But it's like, you could tell that
You
the
can
thing that
get
he
so
wants
excited. Yeah.
to do. Yeah,
It's funny.
SirLinkalot wants to get to Meyer and yesterday.
Yeah.
See what it is.
Of course, I mean, you know what to say about Meyer anyway. The key's under the doormat, right? So if it ends up being Bombos or Ether, it's probably in the shed.
I don't know. We have 2 very large pendant dungeons looming.
Yeah.
So
It's true, and we have the King of Samaria now. Oh, boy.
Oh yeah, like,
Oh,
that's
boy.
what that's why it was interesting that Eykir just checked ped, because we know on SirLinkalot's side that it's in play.
Yeah. So will he take the time to look? But there's a certain likelihood he won't have to.
SirLinkalot's not likely to check ped here. There's a better than a 1 inch. Oh, picking up a couple a potion for the road. That's fine.
Yeah.
Just a quick pit stop. But
Yeah, you see a lot of runners do this when they know they're like pretty much run into the end. It's like, all right, well, it's gonna take 10 seconds, and dying costs more than that.
yeah, and Eykir's definitely on the path to picking up his mitts. So
Yeah. Could get the powder here and see if he just follows it right down.
yeah, again, the unfortunate thing for Eykir is that
Ether for
Ooh,
Meyer.
Ether.
Fascinating.
so that's good for Eykir, because
yeah.
now we have 2 outstanding large pendant dungeons. That gives him a window if they
Yeah, now we've got ourselves a race.
SirLinkalot picks the right one, and which one's the right one, you don't know. There's not a good way of knowing. You just have to pick one, do it, and hope it's right. And if SirLinkalot picks wrong and Eykir picks right, that is definitely a way to get back into this game.
Yeah. We'll see if we can get out of the Meyer neighborhood before the tension dissipates.
Yeah.
Yeah, so far we're on it.
The unfortunate thing, though, for Eykir is that everything that SirLinkalot did post-mitts was all required. So Eykir has to mirror SirLinkalot to at least get parity from collecting mitts, which is a Dark Death Mountain trip and a full Ice Palace clear.
Yeah, which the back up the mountain might not be the tempting thing for him.
Yeah. So, still very
he
much
took
in
the time to get those
SirLinkalot's
2 checks
favor.
earlier,
but
so he's probably like, oh man, a third time.
Still very much in SirLinkalot's favor, but there is some life there for Eykir.
Yep. And we see, speaking of up the mountain, Link's back and looking like Turtle Rock, you think?
Yeah, this definitely looks like a Turtle Rock play. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a fine play. You have full access to it. Um, the other alternative would be pod.
Yeah,
Um,
it's something.
I mean, as much as people may say that they want to read the tea leaves or anything with this, with randomizer, it's really just a coin flip as to whether or not it's in one or the other. So, um, the hope for SirLinkalot is that the dungeon plus lead that he has on Eykir is enough that to give him a buffer that if he makes the wrong choice, that he can still go to the correct dungeon in time and get the dungeon done. Um,
Yeah. Meanwhile,
so-
got another check that Link hasn't known happening for Eykir.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is another I feel very far behind play. Well, yeah, especially if you're doing this without having done Ice Palace first. Again, this might be the look for Cane of Samaria before Ice Palace play, but
Yeah, yeah. Like you said, we saw Link go up the mountain and get big payout.
yeah, Smith Chain is not usually the play that you do here if you feel like if you feel anything other than I'm really far behind.
Yeah, yeah.
So, oh,
Got our
still
silver
rares.
arrows. And 2 keys so far.
Yeah,
So one of our 5 proper dungeon items, and of course the Mimic Cave Ledge in play here. That'd be a zinger of a spot, huh?
it'll be interesting to see if Eykir actually goes up the mountain to get Samaria first before clearing ice, or if he does ice first.
Yeah, bringing the purple chest down here. Maybe there's like, but yeah, flute. Or no, he doesn't have flute yet. My bad. Oh, Bombos. a little
Bombos,
bit of a
not
tease.
not the right one.
Yeah. So that's our second item. 3 to go in the Mimic Cave.
So the interesting thing, we could be in a situation if Eykir actually gets the. Oh no, it's not. It's not on purple chest. Nothing has been working out for Eykir anywhere this seed.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Looks like he's gonna run his way across the Ice Palace now.
Yeah, and this is fine. I mean, for newer players, there can be some. The Icebreaker trick is actually more comfortable than Ice Palace Bomb Jump, but Palace Bomb Jump isn't terrible, especially for these veteran players. It makes the routing a little bit slow because you have to work your way all the way up to big key chest and then back down again. But there's also the opportunity that Cane of Samaria could just be in here in Eykir's mind.
Right. Right, we got that vanilla big key and Turtle Rock, and so we're heading out to the bridge.
The other thing too is going back to the mountain logic. Eykir still doesn't have mountain logic, so it could be. I mean, obviously, Flute's in here. Flute could be in here, and that could be what drives Eykir up the mountain to.
Yeah, in fact, it may have been the contributing factor to not returning. He goes, you know what, I've been doing that, and I haven't had the access, so, like, what am I doing, right? But yeah, we see the big chest check here first, because it saves a warp if that turned out to be Ether. Going into Mimic, and we'll see what we got.
So, the unfortunate thing here for Eykir, which is a thing that we keep on saying, is that when he gets Cane of Samaria up the mountain eventually, that's going to kind of nudge him to go into TR as his pendant choice too. And what Eykir really needs is to have Ether not be in TR.
Because Link's almost done it.
Yeah, and have and get into pod
Right.
before he also does TR. Maybe Eykir's plan would be to do Ice Palace and then immediately go into pod afterwards. That's going to be a tricky call to make, given that you pull Flute out of or off of Cold Stare.
Yeah, and so
Eykir is looking like he's just going to completely skip the. Oh no! It's because he doesn't have a key.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
this is
so
the
he's-
worst layout of ice. This is the layout of ice that makes Ice Palace Bomb Jump really gross sometimes. Where you don't have to worry about this bad layout when you're doing Icebreaker because you're just immediately forcing yourself into that side, keys or no.
yeah.
But Eykir has to deal with a really bad key layout, and now he's got to do a whole loop around Ice Palace. Nothing in the seed is working out for him. Actually, the first thing to work out for him might be that TR is empty. We'll see from SirLinkalot's side. No,
There it is.
it's in TR. That's unfortunate. So
Yeah, that's a
Sir-
pretty.
well, unfortunate for Eykir.
Yeah, that's a pretty
It's
heavy
great
nail
for
Eykir.
SirLinkalot. So
Yeah.
SirLinkalot's in go mode. He is just going to go clean up Meyer, come back up, do GT, and finish out the seed. And Eykir just none of the gambles worked out. Nothing in the seed worked out for him, and it's just going to be rough going for him for the rest of the outing.
Yeah. And probably worth mentioning, maybe even sooner than this, though, a good sport to just soldier on with it, too, anyway, because, yeah.
I mean-
could have made a thing of it, but figured, you know what, in 5 minutes I can try. And we get a bird toss. I've not seen one in a long time.
I mean, both of these players are very competitive. They're here to to win some games. I'm not. I wouldn't think that they're going to give up at any point in the season. Not until it's over.
Yeah. They got a bird toss with Meyer, too. We're booting, we're scooting.
Yep. I mean,
And eating
Meyer,
some fireballs, that's alright, part of a balanced breakfast.
Meyer's kind of an awkward dungeon to do in go mode because,
It still just might take you forever.
yeah,
Yeah. No way around that big key yet.
yeah, you just have to continue to open chests as if you're not go mode until you hit the big key. And it's funny, Meyer's lobby creates this like open dungeon layout where you can access all of the checks in the different directions, which makes routing it, especially for beginners, kind of weird. But
Oh, there it is.
you gotta hunt down that big key before you can get to the back. As soon as you have the big key, you're just off, which is exactly what's going on with SirLinkalot here.
Yep.
A little bit low on health, is going to use powder to get a fairy from an anti-fairy, but that is going to kill his ability to do spooky.
Yeah,
So we're going to see traditional strats for hitting these switches in the back of Meyer. On the other side, we got Eykir just picking up another crystal, or looking to pick another crystal, killing Cold Stare. Cut Cold Stare pinned in the corner very nicely.
One sneaks out, but not for long.
Yeah, with Tempered Sword, it's kind of hard to keep them corralled for the entirety of the fight.
A
But-
little RNG cooperation helps, but this time, slippery guy.
So yeah, that's crystal number 6 for Eykir, but he's got to go up the mountain, get Cane of Samaria, and do basically the entirety of Turtle Rock just to get the
Ether-on laser, yeah.
yeah. So he's essentially 2 dungeons behind, and it's just unfortunately been one thing compounding after another. Oh yeah, Eykir is activating the flute, of course. So yeah, because he's going to activate the flute and then go look at the medallion and then decide what he's going to do. And SirLinkalot has the 7th crystal, so the next stop is GT and finding that GT big key in the basement.
Yep. No tricks in this seed as far as, like, any place it could end up we can't get to. We've got the whole kit. So, we'll just get to see what route he really prefers.
Yeah, the other thing that worked out really well for SirLinkalot's route, so Uh, 3 pendant dungeons. All of them could equally have had that ether medallion, and SirLinkalot managed to narrow it down to the one dungeon that did have it. And Turtle Rock's definitely the one that ends up being the most suspicious in players' minds, especially since you have a lot of items to get into it. But like I said, it's just kind of a coin flip which dungeon has it. And SirLinkalot got it. Eykir's already cleared Pendant Thieves Town for nothing, and might still end up in pod. We'll see.
Yeah. I kind of felt like he was very into the idea earlier with some of the routing decisions, so.
Well, he was
serving
definitely
it.
hoping the pod was a crystal so that you could pair it with Eastern, with Miro.
Yeah.
It just another one of the myriad of things that just has not worked out for Eykir.
Yeah. Yeah, hello, Turtle Rock, we're back, but we're not going in.
No, we are going to the GT basement, trying to find the big key.
Using our superior sword power to get through those Lionels. Then the final boss, some stairs.
It's kind of a cool scene. You get the very loud clunk, clunk, clunk of the
Oh, yeah.
stairs coming down.
Yeah, the
with
mass
the-
really it comes out. I remember first time getting there as a kid, just oh my gosh, like you think Gavin's gonna be right inside.
First check big key
All right,
and a small key. It's all been going SirLinkalot's
so the
way.
funny numbers game goes to a Nissan Sentra in chat. So congrats, you've won yourself a Nissan Sentra.
Or Nissan Sentra's worth of internet points.
Yeah.
Void where prohibited, prohibited everywhere.
Sorry, no CODs, whatever that means. Yeah, and even this climb now, we've got the silvers, so just a little bit of patience while the sparkles lag across the screen. Mimics really are no problem.
Just as Casboots starts out very scripted with the escape sequence, especially when you end up with basically all of the equipment in the Casboot seed,
Yeah.
GT ends up equally being very scripted. So we'll see quite a lot of practiced movement in the top of this climb.
All right, I hear making some moves here.
Yeah, he's
Getting the cane right next to TR. Is that a stimulus enough to get him in there?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it will be. Because you don't want to leave and then have to do another mountain climb just to come back later.
Yeah. Tend to agree, and it seems like so does he.
Yeah, but he's got to be in a spot where because so little worked out for him, he's got to know where he's at, and that and that's unfortunate, but it's just one of those things where these seeds are kind of all like that. You get a little bit of something divergent that happens early. In this case, unfortunately, it was a crash that makes you make decisions a little bit differently to try to find a way to win the game. And the divergence has just gone against Eykir every single time.
Yeah. Rough go, but there are more matches in groups, so.
Oh yeah, that's the big thing. Like, one loss is not the end of the tournament by far. Like,
You just gotta make sure you beat everybody else.
yeah, there's plenty of people in the group. There's plenty of games that could be won. Eykir still very well could take first in the group. Even if he doesn't, he still has a shot in a play-in race if he gets second. So definitely not over, but and then opposite, SirLinkalot, this is going to be a great win for him. This is going to be exactly the type of win that he was looking to get to kind of kickstart the group.
Yeah.
Because Eykir, despite the issues that happen, Eykir is a very strong player, and we came into this really just not knowing which player was going to end up coming out on top.
Yeah, absolutely.
But SirLinkalot making good work of the climb in TR. Not too far away now.
Yeah. Got a second visit to Moldova here. Very cooperative.
Sometimes the hardest boss in the game. Not always, but...
Oh, and Eykir having to do a little skeleton dance, but misses a step.
Ooh. Yeah, and... I mean, just... Yeah, it's just been an unfortunate game, but Eykir... Because of how quick this event goes, Eykir is going to have to shake this off and
he's probably got a match like a half hour after this one's over.
Yeah.
Right?
The players have to play a lot of matches in a very short period of time.
And we mentioned both these guys are in multiple tournaments this year again, right?
So, that's the other...
Which in one way, maybe, you know, if he's got his next match is in one of the other games, he just, you know, washes it right out. But either way, I'm sure he'll still put up a great show the rest of the event.
Mm-hmm. Got some agonometry going on the Linkalot side. A little bit of bug-net fanfare.
I like agonometry, but then as Ganon appeared, I thought of pigonometry. And they're both good.
I'm looking forward to baconometry
I was gonna say it's the science of bacon or something. But anyway, we've got a video game occurring before our very eyes. Well, there you go. That was the one we didn't get to see much of. Was what everybody's bunny sprite was. So we had a little cat.
We got the final battle on SirLinkalot side.
Just gonna go wild with the tempered sword here.
Okay, so we're gonna need 2 cycles in the first phase. 1-in-1 is actually pretty tricky on tempered sword. There's kind of a very specific way that you have to do it with a trident spin. You could possibly get it without the trident spin, but it's very difficult.
Oh yeah, we see you know, he's not afraid to use the cape right now. I mean, he's got the silver, so if he can pull torch glitch, it's pretty much clinical. But because he stopped for those potions, it would just very confidently remember that, you know, it's way more expensive to die. So just protect your position here and try to get across that bridge.
The other thing is with silvers that the magic's a lot less valuable as a so you're not going to be doing a lot of torch lighting. You're just basically going to try to real quick get 4 shots into Ganon. And
very rude, Ganon. Very rude.
I mean, he doesn't want to be killed.
Hey, you know, now when you say it that way, we get a nice double there.
Double
edge
into another
stays
double.
on the. Very nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Very clean fight.
Now it's just a tiny matter of patience. Don't press up. Not yet.
This fanfare can be very nerve-wracking for players too.
It feels like it lasts forever.
Yeah.
Right? Oh man.
And get your GGs in for SirLinkalot. He has finished.
GGs. Race well run by both runners. Snafu at the beginning. And a deep thought here.
Sandwich.
Oh, that's going to be one of the fun things with this event is we've had
lunch.
user-submitted Triforce text. So if you only tune in for the end of these, watch the whole thing anyway. But yeah, great race. Hey, go ahead, grab the mics.
Yeah, let's. We're gonna
Make
slide off
the middle
to
for
the side. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. All right, so we're joined here immediately after the race with our winner, SirLinkalot, and another strong runner, Eykir. So, without undercutting your victory real quick, we want to ask Eykir about something. Was that early in Emu Crash?
Emu Crash, yeah.
That's so rough. It was during Escape.
Right at the end of Escape.
And so definitely within the time frame, especially with the way the seed played out, that like those 5 minutes, like that can come back very easily. And you, now to get to your performance, just on the path, was there anything in particular you're thinking about, like especially towards the end where you're like, it's got to be TR?
Pendant Pod was on the back of my mind the whole time. I skipped it so much. I'm like, Pendant Pod. I'm just
Gotcha.
like,
Right, and because you couldn't have possibly known what had happened to Eykir, so I'm thinking like, well, he's got all this stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't until like I found Ether and TR. I'm like, okay. I skipped the back of Thieves Town, skipped all of Pendant Pod. I'm like, all right, I'm feeling pretty good. But
I thought my skip a pendant pod was a good play. Apparently
I mean,
was. I was
it
just
was,
so
yeah.
too
It's
far
just,
behind.
and that was the thing too, is you guys both basically kept making the same right plays, except for the little bit of deviation where you put off Eastern for a bit, right? And it seemed like maybe at first, were you thinking about like mirror to group those two before you knew that it was pendant? Yeah,
absolutely.
Right, it makes total sense. It's a great play when mirror's not gated there. So yeah, still, I mean, I think apart from a couple of like you knew your situation too. You're making some decisions to try to catch that time. Like your execution after that was great. So like you were giving yourself every opportunity that way.
SirLinkalot's a good runner. And
Yeah.
just can't come back from that kind of deficit against him.
Yeah, it's tough.
I mean, even with that, I think I was still behind and losing at that point because I completed Thieves Town.
Yeah, I was
and
gonna.
I did I pretty much every check except pod.
Yeah.
So even in checks, he was far better than me there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eykir, it looked like a little bit earlier in the seed when there's still plays to be made. It looked like you were taking some gambles, trying to find a way to catch something out of place to give yourself a window back in, and absolutely nothing worked out for you.
Yeah, I thought like I went back up to Hera after I got the book out of Thieves Town and did the Spike Cave and Ether Tablet play, and like nothing was there. Because I've had things in Spike Cave before. It's like, yeah, I think it would be your play.
Yeah.
And once I have the books, I can combine the two of them. So let's just go do it.
Yep.
So that lost time. Doing all Thieves Town for Green Pendant.
Yeah.
Because I was going to go to Eastern afterward after I got the books. Like, okay, I do the red crystals, go to Pyramid Fairy, which turned out to be the right play to make.
Yep.
Still just, did too much.
Yeah, it'll happen. But
Yeah.
any your thoughts or questions you have for each other, like where was or how
Where was
did
it?
thing go?
Where was Ether in Turtle Rock? I was midway
the
through.
bridge.
It was Laser Bridge. Okay, I was.
Yeah, and TR even teased you because Bombos was early.
I know. I saw that. Like,
I saw the pendant medallion. I'm like, yes. I'm like, oh, that's the wrong. That's the wrong.
it's like it's Samari up there. I'm just going in Turtle Rock.
Oh.
Skip pod completely.
So,
I was hoping
you were,
you'd do pod.
I forget where Red Boomerang was, but I was like, oh, if Eykir can only find Samar, and the chest open, it's a red curl, and we're like, oh. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, a fun race to watch, even in spite of the unfortunate technical thing at the beginning. Yeah, for what happened, I don't think anybody can fault you for any of your decisions on it, and you played well. So like, next time.
It did let me get my fastest escape ever though, probably because I got to skip every chest.
Yeah,
probably better than a 455 maybe. Yeah, we're in the middle of an interview. But thank you, I'm honored.
Yeah, we were actually looking at the time for the second escape sequence, and when you had come out of that at under 10:30, I was like, wow, that second escape was really fast.
Oh yeah. Oh, and for as frazzled as you must have been when that happened, like, do you have the wherewithal to be like, oh yeah, I know nothing's in here? Like that's
like the only benefit.
Yeah,
of that.
solid thinking.
Skipping everything else. They're probably happy about the silvers then too in Turtle Rock. Turtle Rock delivered everything at the end there, silvers and Ether.
Which is unsurprising for Turtle Rock.
Yeah, Pendant Turtle Rock, right?
Yeah, go figure. But like, anything you were especially like pleased with the way the seed went, or like your execution through it?
I mean, there were like minor execution hiccups here and there. The big thing was just like coming out of Kakariko having almost nothing.
Oh yeah, it feels bad. You're like, well, where is it?
I was just like 2 items, and then the bottle's on race game, so you gotta. It's like, oh, I gotta grab that and backtrack.
Yeah, and at least you have boots, but like.
Yeah, it's still, and it's like, yeah. Other than that, yeah, I wish I would have got the mitts before going up to the mountain.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, they were in a trick spot.
Yeah, you could have done
ended
that.
up on the bat behind the powder. Yeah.
Yeah, which was
Graveyard Ledge with
yep.
the mirror kind of buried under Pyramid
was
Fairy.
happy
And
to
you're
get
like,
those
well, I've got
mitts.
so many things I can do now. How am I
Yeah,
ever
no,
going to finish?
and that's why I was like, okay, I'm immediately going to the mountain to see what's there because I can check to see if I can get into Turtle Rock. And then I pulled the lamp.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm gone because
That-
flute's not
Yeah.
here.
Right, yeah,
And I was
that,
that's what I
that
had
was
said.
interesting.
And I was like,
because
I
we were
might
like,
just need flute, so
you're not
I'm
even allowed to
gone.
be here. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm gonna go find flute now. It's like, wait, Ice Palace is open. It's Crystal. Let's go. And it's like flute. I'm like, I might be in Gomo. Go to Mizramar. It's like, nah, I need ether. I'm like, yeah, of course you do. It's like, well, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about skipping Swift Chains. Again, missed going right to Ice Palace. It would have been the right play, but yeah, looking for things that you may not have done. So trying to catch up that way. It just wasn't the route this time.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I mean, good
more
race.
more matches left in your group, and a strong group at that. But plenty of opportunity. To maybe take the first, get in the play and race at least. So
I don't know. Again, it's going wild next.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
I've heard a few people say, "Oh man, I've got that match later." But any other final thoughts on the seed or things you're excited about the event?
I mean, excited about the whole event. Happy
Yeah.
to kick off. I know SM Dash was first, but happy to kick off Link to the Past randomizer.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
pre-stream,
great match to
so
see.
I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of other good matches.
Oh yeah.
And you out here?
We both have Final Fantasy 1 right after this.
Oh
so
right. Well,
Yeah.
good luck.
Good luck on your
Facing
race
each
there.
other, or
No.
Oh, that'd have been funny.
That would have been hilarious if that happened. But no.
Well, and how about you, Garrison? Hey, we miss anything? Anything you're really excited about?
Oh man, I'm actually just kind of excited to be here. I purposely did not join, even though I am a runner. I purposely didn't join any tournaments just so I can watch everything live and meet everybody here.
Yeah.
This is a really cool event.
Yeah, oh,
and
yeah,
I'm
such a great
very
time.
happy to be here.
Wonderful to
And
be
you're
seeing
commentator,
everybody.
too.
Yeah, everybody who's out to lunch, I guess. But,
Lunch sounds really
yeah.
good right now.
But thank you all for joining us. Thank you again to our tracker, Link Force, who has spent the entire time off screen answering everyone in chat. Thank you, chat, for hanging out. It's been fun. And stick around. We've got another Link to the Past rando match coming up, I believe, on this very channel. And so we'll see you soon. Thanks, everybody.